Ladies and gentlemen, again, and at this time we ask you please rise, remove your hats as the Tennessee Army National Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Jim Spina from the Corporate Chaplains of America offers our invocation.
Let's pray. Father God, we are so thankful that we have a God who is full of such grace and mercy and love. We pray that you would bless this gathering this evening, that there would be a special blessing on those who will be driving, for their crew teams, for the families, and for each of the race fans that have gathered. Let each and everything that is accomplished here tonight and throughout this weekend, let it all bring glory and honor to your name. We pray these things in the mighty name of Jesus, in whom we find our salvation. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Leland Shine.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's about that time. Who you guys picking for the race win, Jeff?
Well, I was going to go with Sauter, but I'm going to go with Brett Moffitt, the pole sitter.
Okay.
I'm going with the old guy, the biggest zero of the year, Johnny Sauter.
You know what? Great minds think alike. I'm going Johnny Sauter as well. It's going to be exciting. The playoffs are here. Who will lock themselves in? Let's check in with the guys calling the action in the booth and Vince Welch.
Thank you, Caitlin. Certainly is a beautiful night. Some of the most memorable races in NASCAR history have been contested here. No better place to begin the playoffs. This is Bristol, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoff opener. And it follows a regular season pumped full of great stories, including 4 first-time winners. And who could forget veteran Greg Biffle returning and winning, more than 6,000 days between truck victories. Shockwaves when Ross Chastain dominated at Iowa but failed tech and was DQ'd, then bounced back for a win a week later. We had a former champion get suspended when Johnny Sauter's retaliation got him benched for a race. And after 6 runner-up finishes, the winning moment finally arrived for Stuart Friesen. For others, the expectations weren't reached, but they have every intention of crashing the party. A party in which 8 drivers believe they are the guest of honor. And for more, we go to our pit reporters, beginning with Alan Cavana.
Vince, it is playoff time. Is it possible to be both the underdog and the favorite in this championship fight? Depends on how you think of Ross Chastain. He is on one of the smaller teams with less funding than other teams, but he has the wins and he has the speed. He starts second tonight and he has the confidence he can win this race. Hermie, I would call him a championship favorite.
Been a great season for the 45, Allen, but one of the champions of this sport, Matt Crafton, he has not won in the last 51 starts. In 16 starts at Bristol, no wins as well. But his team is confident. Why? Because he says his trucks are fast. For them, it comes down to execution. They need to execute better, especially on restarts, which they expect to see a lot of tonight, Jamie.
Well, Hermie, for our regular season champion, Grant Enfinger, he feels that he and his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, tonight, they can be smart. They can do what they've done all season long. They don't have to worry about getting their first win just yet. But what they have to do is still earn some stage wins. They have to finish within the top 10. He said the problem tonight is the 98 Ford. It's good, but it's not great, and he starts 14th.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. Great to have you with us tonight, and we're so thankful to be here this evening at this special place. Bristol, certainly one of the iconic racetracks, and as we said, a great place to begin the playoffs. Along with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Phil, there are 8 contenders for the championship, and anytime you talk about contenders and the playoffs, you got to talk about favorites and underdogs. Who are the favorites to win this championship?
Well, first of all, they're going to have to conquer a very challenging Bristol Motor Speedway, but I don't think I can pick one favorite. I'm going to have to pick 2, and ironically, they're starting in the front row here tonight. Ross Chastain has been the surprise of the year, just converted to the Truck Series and can race for a championship. But look at their records here. You see Brett Moffitt 2-3 years ago had a second-place finish. Ross Chastain had a third-place finish. And how about the average finishes this season? 9.1 for Brett, 9.3 for Ross. It's amazing how closely their seasons are on a parallel. But these guys here have awesome opportunity here to maybe lock themselves in the second round of the playoffs, and it wouldn't surprise me if either one of them does it here.
Phil, I've been a bit of an underdog over the years, so I'm going to take that row. And I won't look any further back than the 4th position on the starting grid where Ben Rhodes rolls from. He's got a very fast, good-looking Ford truck, and he said after qualifying, I don't care about the playoffs. I want to be the spoiler. I want to go out and win races. I think he's got a legit shot to do that tonight. And Todd Gilliland, another guy, he's starting back in the 17th position, but last year, Phil, here, he spotted on 2 laps. He lost a couple of laps in an accident, went to the top of the racetrack. That's why I'm really looking forward to watching this event tonight and seeing where Todd goes. A lot of trucks to pass. He can get up outside of that traction compound that's down low, maybe burn a groove in up top and be fun to watch. And another driver, Parker Kligerman, he said this is their Super Bowl. Charlie Henderson owns this Food Country USA team. They're located right near Bristol, Tennessee, and they are looking at this as a home game, the biggest race for them of the year. So those are my underdogs, and I think they're going to be really contenders tonight. Along with John Hunter Nemechek. He's going to be good, too. And don't forget Sam Meyer. He just won the K&N race.
How many are you going to pick?
I mean, he picked 8, Vince, and I only got 2.
Yeah, there are 8 playoff drivers, and then there's a whole list of the guys that are trying to spoil the party, and it's a great field for tonight. But we're going to talk a lot throughout the course of the evening about this group of 8, those drivers that are going for the championship. And how about this? Just 17 points separating the 8 championship contenders.
And there's 180 points available in these 3 races in this round.
Remember, Johnny Sauter was the winner here a year ago. Can he go back-to-back? We're about ready to get this party started.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, the president of the University of Northwestern Ohio, Dr. Jeffrey Jarvis.
On behalf of everyone at UNOH and Ohio Logistics, NASCAR fans, it's Bristol, baby! Drivers, start your engines!
If that doesn't get you fired up, nothing will. Got goosebumps, ready to get this thing going. Yes, it is Bristol.
Let's go. Y'all looking for a hero, huh? Y'all looking for a hero, huh? But you're never gonna get this far if you can't be the one with the heart. Where do I start? And you know that it'll make you a star. Contender, defender, fighting off all the offenders. Never surrender, but always remember.
Rome wasn't built in a day. And neither were the championship hopes of 8 drivers in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Now, these drivers take their title aspirations to the last great Coliseum. Where only one truck, one driver will emerge victorious. Ankrum, Sauter, Crafton, Chastain, Hill, Friesen, Enfinger, Moffitt. It's Bristol, baby.
One of the tracks that was on the original Truck Series schedule back in 1995. It's Bristol for the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoffs. It's the round one opener. The world's fastest half mile, Mike.
How about checking out our Gander Outdoors Truck Series track description? Look at the bottom of the racetrack. That's the big factor today. The dark area, that's traction compound. These trucks have been in that traction compound all day. What will this race bring? Will they go up and run high? You can see the racetrack's just over a half mile. The variable baking in the corners goes from 24 degrees to 28. And the straightaways are 650 feet long. It's the action that I love about this place. They're going to be 2 and 3 wide. Great short track racing.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. This race is broken up into 3 stages. Relatively short, 55, 55 in the final stage, 90. Last year, John Hunter Nemechek did not stop until the end of the second stage, and he was in contention until he had a fuel issue in the last few laps. A pit window somewhere between 130 and 140 laps. That's why he was able to go that far. We could see a lot more of that tonight.
Let's go downstairs quickly to Alan Cavana.
And Vince, if you believe in momentum, look to last week's winner, Austin Hill. He's never been really good here at Bristol, but he rolled off the truck. They were terrible, made a bunch of changes, and then in practice 2, went to the top of the board. He surprised us before. He can do it again tonight, Herbie.
Alan Tyler Ankrum is a rookie. Tonight is his first start in this series at this track. But he is a serious contender for this championship. I asked him earlier today, what's the key for you? He said, just do what I've done so far to get me here. Jamie?
Well, Hermie, another driver hoping to spoil the playoffs is Sheldon Creed in the number 2 machine. The problem for him, though, is he's going to have to start at the back of the field after unapproved adjustments following qualifying. Lucky for them, they figured out during qualifying the truck was only running on 7 cylinders. They were able to repair and not replace, but it's a tall order for tonight.
Indeed. Let's take a look at these onboard cameras we've got for you tonight.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with Grant Enfinger. That's he's our regular season point champ. He's in the Thor Sport Ford. He's going to have that bumper cam. We're going to have great views out of the bumper cam right here.
That.
Starts 14th.
Look how dramatic that looks already, and we're under caution. This is an awesome view from Ross Chastain right up front. He's carrying our visor cam. We're going to be able to ride on his helmet. He's going to take the car shield Chevy from the outside of front row.
Let's eavesdrop on the radio of Stuart Friesen.
All right, buddy, settle in there. Get relaxed, get calm here, get focused. Make your picks on traffic. Think of them ahead of time before you get there. It'll be coming up soon. All right, brother, come forward.
Friesen, of course, 6 times a runner-up and got that win at Eldora. And how big it would be if he could back it up with one here at Bristol tonight to begin the playoffs.
Finished second here last year to Johnny Sauter.
How big is it going to be on that outside lane? We're going to watch that closely here in the early stages.
The winner has come from the pole here 5 times before. Brent Moffitt hopes to add his name to that list tonight. He starts on the inside. It's the playoff opener at Bristol. Great jump from Moffitt to take the lead. Chastain, Friesen, Rhodes, Sauter slotting in through the top 5.
That's what I love about the start. So we're going to force the people to run outside that traction compound and put some rubber down on the racetrack.
Who's able to move up there and make ground? Who's able to hold their own even early in the going? That's going to be a sign of a strong truck. Right now you see the 18 of Harrison Burton up top just losing positions.
Of course, those playoff drivers, the 8 that are racing for a championship, highlighted there in yellow, and a caution over in turn 2. Jesse Little involved in that. There's the 3 of Jordan Anderson as well. Some significant damage to that 97. Sheldon Creed. Maybe a little contact in the process.
See, Jesse slid up the racetrack a little bit. Looked like there was a spin. Gus Dean had spun, and that's why he had backed off the throttle. Sheldon Creed wasn't aware of that and got into him.
And that's the way things happen at Bristol. So quickly, you'll have a truck up ahead, a guy will see it in front of you, and you'll run over him because you didn't know what was happening.
And the reason Sheldon Creed was at the back, he had ignition problems during qualifying.
Mike, Special day for your brother Darrell and
certainly
Stevie.
is. Well, this place was Darrell's house for a long time. He won 7 races in a row here, but today is a special day. He and Stevie are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. You see on the side of Clay Greenfield's truck, Clay won a big late model race last week at Nashville, and now he's got his Rockery roofing truck here in Bristol, and there's a picture of Darrell and Stevie in Victory Lane. And just shout out to my brother and his beautiful bride, and congratulations to them on 50 wonderful years and what they meant to the Fox family and to race fans all over the country.
Yeah, Hall of Famer Darrell Waltrip. He's one of a kind, that's for sure.
12 wins here, 7 in a row.
That's impossible. That is impossible.
I mean, finishing 7 races in a row here
totally
is difficult.
I don't think I ever did it early in a row.
But just really happy that Clay was able to put their picture on the side of that baby.
You know, it's interesting, Mike, you talked about the traction compound that's down on the track. Before the race today, Ross Chastain was out on the track. Is he more concerned about the stickiness of that area or how it compares to where he's going up to the top?
I think the drivers are really concerned about if there's going to be a groove up there, and we saw everybody fighting for the bottom. The officials here at Bristol Motor Speedway, they scrubbed that track up there, they cleaned it off, and then they had the tire dragging on it, so they think they've prepped it well. And I believe that throughout this race we are going to see trucks up on the high side making passes.
You mentioned at the very top of the show, Todd Gillen jumped up there last year and made some terrific gains, raced all the way back up into the top 5 after having issues early.
And watch for the veterans, guys like Ross Chastain and Brett Moffitt, maybe Johnny Sauter Crafton, to get up there and start using that area. They're the ones that understand that to win this race, you've got to be versatile. You can't just run around the bottom all night long.
And they're going to have to work it up there. They're not going to just drive up there right now and be a lot of grip. They're going to have to make it happen.
Getting ready for this restart after Jesse Little suffered some significant damage, and he's gone to the garage area, collected a couple of others that had a little more damage, some more severe than others, but certainly Jesse Little took the brunt of it. But we are about ready for this restart, and it's always frantic, especially here where there's not much room to work at Bristol. Ross Chastain on the outside, and your control truck is Brett Moffitt on the inside in that 24. Good restart for Chastain, and he's using the outside. Can he clear Moffitt for the lead? Not yet. Now he gets him.
Boy, that's big right there now.
And don't think the spotters on top of the roof talking to these drivers didn't take note of that, saying it can be done. You might have to do it in a hurry on the restart, but it can be done.
There's that bumper cam from Grant Enfinger, that Thor Sport Ford. Oh! Right in the back of John Hunter Nemechek.
Boy, that was a big hit.
And our camera survived.
Look at the damage it did to the left rear of Nemechek. That wasn't just a tap. The 16 of Austin Hill, last week's winner at Michigan. Talking about coming to the playoffs with a little momentum. Hill grabbed that momentum in a big way last week. Can he continue it on here tonight as you look at Stuart Friesen running 6th, then Chandler Smith in his 3rd career start of that 51 truck. He's been impressive in his first 2 races.
He sure has. He's been impressive all year long here. 4 ARCA Menards wins this year.
Oh, look at Friesen up out of the groove. Truck just pushed a little bit in the traction compound. He had the wheels cut, and then the back kicked out once he got up into the wider area of the track.
You saw Tyler Ankrum and Johnny Sauter take advantage of that slip by Friesen and grab positions as Grant Enfinger passes the 30 of Brennan Poole, and there's the 18 of Harrison Burton right there as well.
Once Poole lost that position, you can see him pull over and try to protect the bottom, but Harrison's better right now. He's been able to squeeze inside of that 30 truck.
Harrison Burton, one of those drivers that even though he didn't win in the regular season, he had a strong regular season campaign. He was, if you would have put drivers in the playoffs based on points, Harrison Burton would have been there. Because he didn't win, he didn't grab one of those playoff spots, but he's capable of winning, and it might just be tonight.
There's the 21 of Sam Mayer. He had a little bit of damage in that early incident over there with Castine and Jesse Little, but he never even came to pit road.
This is a guy I want everybody to keep their eye on, and Caitlin Vincey and Top O'Dine certainly picked picked him to win this race tonight. Johnny Sauter had a great practice, really fast, long run speed. The veteran won here a year ago. I think Johnny Sauter is going to make a lot of noise in these playoffs, and it's going to start right here at Bristol.
It's interesting, though. Sauter just 3 top 10s in the last 9 races. I mean, they got to get it turned around, and it's a great place for them to do that. Get it turned around right here at Bristol.
And Vince, they come in still with a lot of confidence, mostly because of the confidence of the driver, Johnny Sauter. You mentioned he won this race last year, and he feels like most of their bad luck was in spite of having trucks that had speed enough to win. So when you go through a little bit of a struggle period, when your driver is confident, he can uplift that entire team. It's a new start to a new season for those guys.
Sauter comes into the playoffs 7th in the standings, and that guy right in front of him, Tyler Ankrum, he's 8th. Those are the 2 guys that got to get into the top 6.
You know what I love? We start the playoffs. We're fresh. We're ready to go.
We say, who's out of the playoffs?
You're already out, and you haven't even started a race. Yeah, that's a little unfair, a little, maybe, but it's inspirational, you know, give these guys some drive, and that's the drive that Johnny Sauter shows there up off the turn. Really good grip in the 13 truck on exit. And if I got to pick one place I want my vehicle to excel at Bristol, it's on exit, where I get that gas down, keep it down, and make those moves. Johnny executed that perfectly.
Sauter takes 4th from Ankrum, and he brings Chandler Smith with him. Smith taking that position from Tyler Ankrum as well. Chandler Smith, just 17 years old, the youngster from Talking Rock, Georgia. And he's a good one. He's shown his wares already in a couple of races. This guy's pretty solid as well. It happens quick here. Don't blink, you might miss something. Stuart Friesen in 7th, and Tyler Ankrum going the wrong direction. He has given up several spots and has dropped back to the 9th spot.
Vince, let me tell you how tight this field is. The 7th place running Rafael Lassard was the fastest truck on the racetrack the last lap.
Look at this tight battle up ahead. John Hunter trying to peek to the inside, squeezing his way down there. Just try to gain a quarter of a truck length at a time. And he's able to do just that and work his way inside of Austin Hill.
Riding along in this bumper camp from Grant Enfinger, trying to make a move here on the 16 of Austin Hill. Trying to move up into that 10th position.
Looks like that 16 truck has got a good handle on him. Was able to come off low and strong. No wiggling, wasn't loose off, but has lost a few positions as of late.
The leader, Ross Chastain. Even if you're the leader, you're always in traffic here at Bristol.
Ryan Sieg up ahead in that 33 truck of Josh Rayone. That team's been running well lately, and Ryan Sieg is just outside the top 20, but in danger of going a lap down here early.
It's amazing the pace that Ross Chastain right now is setting out. He's got a little bit, almost a second lead right now in Brett Moffitt. That'll evaporate somewhat with this heavy traffic, but then Brett Moffitt's going to hit that same traffic here.
There's Ankrum up high after getting around the 3 of Jordan Anderson.
And in front of Ankrum is the 52 of Stuart Friesen, runs 7th, Alan.
And that's actually better than he has been. Remember, after that restart, we saw the video, got really loose, dropped all the way back till about 9th place. But the truck is coming back to him. I checked with his crew chief, Trip Bruce. He says everybody's calm. They're just trying to keep him calm on the radio as the handling comes back. Remember, he finished 2nd here last year. They have big expectations tonight, Ernie.
The 17 truck of Tyler Ankrum started out too loose. Now it is swung to the tight side. Right here, right past the center, he could not get the truck rotated like he wants, so they're looking forward to come to pit road to make some adjustments on the 17, Jamie.
Well, for Ben Rhodes in the 99, he's the highest of the non-playoff drivers right now, and that's really what he's looking for. He said today very bluntly, I want to spoil the playoffs. He said, I'm tired of all the bad luck that I've had. It's time to go out. It's time to put up some results. He's very happy with this race pace. Despite what we saw in practice this morning, he's currently running 4th.
Yeah, you talk about a heartbreaker for a guy like Ben Rhodes, 5th in the regular season points, and he didn't make the playoffs. Great look out the back end of the truck of Ross Chastain there momentarily as you see Chastain coming up on the rear of the 15 of Dylan Lupton.
That's Brett Moffitt right on that tailgate of Ross Chastain.
Yeah, Moffitt was able to close in traffic, but they got a bit bit of a break. It looks like Lupton's got some good speed because Chastain's right on his bumper, but they pulled away a bit from the 24 truck of Moffitt.
Radio on the 24 of Brett Moffitt.
45 are in the middle and 1 and 2 better than us. We're as good as them in the middle and 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is trying to take a little bit more rubber as we go, though. Guys, don't feel worried about them tires on that long haul if we're going to do this strategy, you know.
Talking strategy, talking tire condition, talking where somebody else is running that you might be trying to gain an advantage on. That was going into it.
That was crew chief Jerry Baxter, and he was worried that if you run the high side up out of that traction compound, there's Jerry right there, that you will get more wear on those tires because there's not much rubber down on the outside of the racetrack. And I think what he's talking about, his strategy, is maybe running to the end of that second stage like we were talking about before, and then pitting then.
Whoa, Brett almost got up on the outside. Pretty good traction up there for Brett. He almost got on the outside of our leader, Ross. Ross was able to hold him off, crowd him up a little bit.
You talked about it, Mike, in a track description. A little more banking up high than there is down low. That's why, theoretically, there should be a little bit more speed up there once we get some rubber down.
Look at our man, Johnny Sauter, we've been talking about. He's in the 3rd position. He's crept up on these leaders. There's the 13 for Johnny.
Well, this is a team that needs something good to happen. Certainly have not been running up to their capabilities. Some of that their own doing. Johnny's admitted that he's made some mistakes along the way. Some of it's just been bad luck, but he has been solid here through stage 1 with just a couple of laps remaining here in this initial stage. Pits are closed. Of course, the final 2 laps of each stage as Chastain continues just a half-mile away here from taking care of business in stage 1.
We talked about these two guys being my favorite, and nothing's changed my mind yet, guys.
I like what Moffitt's trying there. I know it's a little late here to do something in this stage, but he's feeling that up top, the upside, and seeing some gains up there.
Chastain takes care of business, winning stage 1. His 4th stage win of the season. Ross Chastain, many say he's the favorite to win the championship. Shown no reason to go against him yet here at Bristol. Back at Bristol, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoff opener. Ross Chastain wins stage 1, and getting on the pit road can be a little tricky here, can't it?
Yeah, you enter off turn 2 under caution, and you have to run the entire pit road and exit as you enter turn 1. So this is a procedure that equals out pit road. Whether you're pitting on the front or the back, it's fair for everyone. Pits are going to be open this time. I think, Phil, our leaders mostly stay out. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think the guys chasing points, which are our playoff contenders, I think they go to end of stage 2. I think the other guys would love to come in around lap 80 or 90, short pit that second stage, and have track position all over the guys that have to race to the end of the second stage.
If you would pit here, you can't make it to the end in all likelihood without stopping again.
With enough cautions, you could. You can't bank on those cautions, but if you had enough caution laps, I think you probably could. Again, our pit window somewhere between 130 and 140. Right now, we're at 140 laps to go.
Any takers?
Yes,
Johnny Sauter.
Johnny Sauter, Ben Rhodes as well. A couple of Thor Sport trucks. Hermie?
Vince, left side tire wear has been an issue today in practice. So you see the 13 of Johnny Sauter getting left side. His truck is too tight. We'll make an adjustment there. Also the 88, Matt Crafton, he ended up staying on the racetrack. So the only playoff driver on my end, Johnny Sauter, is the only one that came down pit road, Jamie.
And Ben Rhodes making his way down pit lane right now. Communication on the radio was that he was 1 to 2 clicks too tight. They're stopping him right at the sign. They're going to go ahead and take 4 Goodyear tires as well. Crew chief Matt Noyce made the call to bring him in. He said, we're going to lose some track position here, but we're not good enough to win the race right now, Alan.
Number 16 of Austin Hill, they're just not happy with the handling right now. Too loose on entry and exit, and something we can see from pit road, the brake rotors are already starting to glow. That's not happening on every truck. They're telling them you've got to back up your entry just a little bit. We can't have that happening so early in this race for the 16.
So some interesting developments here in the end of stage 1, but let's talk to our stage 1 winner, Ross Chastain, Mike.
I think Ross is on the radio right now talking to his crew chief, Phil Gould. Let's see if we can get a word with him. Hey, Ross Chastain, it's Michael Waltrip in the FS1 booth. Do you copy?
Yes, sir.
The truck looks awesome. Tell us about the track. Are you concerned about the groove widening out? Where are you? And the strategy is interesting, kind of all over the board.
Well, our car shield Chevy's leading, Michael. It does look very good. I love these blue and white colors. I can't thank everybody at Car Shield enough for coming back on board after we got our win together at Gateway. And yeah, I do wish it would go up top, but looks like they've ground the track up there. I had Foreman tires pre-race about spun out up there, so there's nothing up there for the trucks tonight. Mostly around the bottom. Brett's working the second groove. I'm going to try to learn from him and stay out front.
You got it. I hope you don't need any Car Shield tonight. I hope it goes well. And you're right, Brett's creeping up there.
He can have it for now. We'll go up there later.
That's confidence right there. That's a young man that's on his game.
Well, hope for the rest of us, though, that the 24 can get up there and make it interesting. A little dicey right now. Back at Bristol, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoff opener, getting ready to go green for stage 2 with Ross Chastain on the inside leading the way.
Top 8 trucks stayed on the racetrack. Johnny Sauter restarted 9th, the first one that put tires on.
Remember, Chastain grabbed the lead from Moffitt on the outside on the restart earlier. It looks like Ross is holding tight down there on the bottom, but Moffitt's going to prevail on the top.
Wow, Brett Moffitt, he has made it work up top here in the early going, was gaining some ground on Chastain in the late stages of stage 1, and he has taken over the lead on that restart. Well done. Caution is out. It's the 44 of Angela Ruck.
Doesn't look like she's hurt it very badly.
Just made slight contact with the inside safer barrier.
Angela making her 7th start of the season.
See, that left front tire is down on that truck.
Yes, sir.
I just lost it.
Johnny Sauter in the 13 truck and a little contact with Rafael Lassard.
Well, he kind of
crowded him a little bit there, getting in the corner.
Yeah, Johnny was just trying to survive at that point, but Johnny, he's the top running truck that pitted. He's currently in 8th, so I'm going to watch that closely. I heard a little bit about some left side tire up. Check this out. You heard Angela say, I just lost it. And clearly that was the case there. But, you know, when you spin one around here at Bristol and you don't suffer any more damage from that, you just chalk it up to a lesson learned. You get you some fresh tires, and then you go out there and apply those lessons and try to be better. Easing down pit road. Now what do you do if you're our leader, Brett Moffitt? The lead has been won by the guy starting on the outside.
I'm going to start on the outside.
Yeah, well, Ross said, I'm not going up there.
Yeah. He said Brett can have it. He said, I'll go up there later.
And Brett said, yes, I'll take it. Thank you.
About Midnight moonshine on board that truck for Brett Moffitt. That's Junior Johnson's company. That's Junior right there. That's Junior's mugshot right there, actually.
But what a story having Junior Johnson on your truck at Bristol. Yeah. He and Darrell owned this place back in the 80s, and having that moonshine on there with Junior's picture on it, that's awesome.
Hey, it's the dawn of a new era as Fox becomes the home of WWE's SmackDown Live. Oh, so many people excited about this. Can't wait. Action is unleashed every Friday night beginning October 4th, only on Fox. How about Tyler Ankrum? We saw him go in the wrong direction in much of stage 1. Hermie, how are things?
You know, they think they've got a better plan now. They was the only truck to come down pit road to get 4 tires at the end of that stage. We saw the 13 of Johnny Sauter get 2, but the 17 got 4 tires, and these guys were loose to start and then went a little bit on the tight side, so they went ahead and bit the bullet, put 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment to try to get Tyler Ankrum back towards the front.
Thank you, Hermie. still under caution here at Bristol. Hey, very serious incident took place earlier today. It was Dale Jr. was coming to the racetrack. He and his wife, his daughter, and the 2 pilots involved in an airplane incident where their plane slid off the runway. And we just want to take a moment to just let Jr. and his family know that just so thankful that they were able to walk away from that incident. Such a scary situation earlier today.
For sure.
I mean, it's just a blessing that they were able to scramble away from the plane, and Junior came to the racetrack this evening and spent some time here. Thankful for their safety, and just want him to know our prayers, our hearts are with him. And I know the whole NASCAR community is just rallying around their safety and thinking about them, and just thankful that it's turned out to be no worse than it was.
Amen to that, Michael.
When you think of Bristol, you think of the Earnhardts and the job that his daddy did here, and
Dale got his first Cup win here.
Yeah, and Dale Jr. swept here back in '04. Just a great place for that family, and man, I'm just so thankful that they're going to be fine.
Absolutely.
Let's check in with Alan.
And we're just looking at Ross Chastain, remember, who won that first stage, led a bunch of laps, and he took the lead because he was on the outside during that restart and was able to pass Brett Moffitt. Well, on that last restart, Ross chose the inside and got passed by Brett Moffitt. He then came along the radio and said, wow, he really learned that from us. So sort of a surprising decision for the 45 of Ross Chastain to choose the inside lane on that restart. But now we'll have to come back and see what he can do to get the 24 again.
A lot of yellows during this caution, Phil. Change the strategy at all for some of these guys and what they're thinking?
I think for the guys that pitted on lap number 61, these caution laps probably would get them in the window, knowing that we're going to have more caution laps, probably around 10 when we have the end of stage. But I'm not sure. They're going to take a look at the tire wear on the left sides, and all these crew chiefs that stayed on the racetrack are also looking at the left sides of the guys that pitted to see how their wear looked.
Ready to go back racing. Brett Moffitt outside and to the front.
Good side-by-side battle for the third spot. There it is right there. Chandler Smith on the inside. Matt Crafton on the outside. Look at Matt Crafton really. Oh, trouble. Nemechek sideways.
John Hunter Nemechek around, and he's making some contact with Johnny Sauter as well. Nemechek did a pretty good job of keeping that to be a little better than what it could have been, but obviously Johnny Sauter has taken some pretty serious damage.
Yeah, hasn't that just been the story of the year for Johnny Sauter? I mean, just so much trouble. Some of it self-inflicted, but certainly there, the strategy to pit and get those left side tires took Johnny from running up inside the top 5 to back in 7th position, and now he's got some damage.
We can still see some of the yellow lettering on the tire. If he didn't hit the tire, I think they can peel away that sheet metal. It won't really hurt that truck that much, but obviously it's going to bring him to pit road.
Man, this could have been a lot. I mean, this could have taken out a handful of trucks. It's amazing that more damage wasn't done. Maybe Sauter got Nemechek first.
I think Johnny got loose and got into Nemechek, and that's what put him in the outside wall. I thought John Hunter was going to save this truck, and probably would have had it saved. Well, I think that one right there, he was going to go around and maybe get into the inside wall, and Johnny just happened to come along.
Austin Hill got through there, one of the playoff drivers.
Look at
right
Johnny
there.
Just get loose on the bottom of the racetrack. Now, speaking of which, watch him get loose down there. He's a veteran. But then Matt Crafton had Chandler Smith just squeezed to the bottom, and he was able to keep his truck pointed in the right direction.
Tyler Ankrum and Austin Hill, both a couple of playoff drivers that were able to skate through there without any damage.
Parker Kligerman, the 75 truck, gets by first, and you see the contact between Johnny Sauter and John Hunter Nemechek.
Tough break for Nemechek, but any indication of the seriousness of this situation with the 13, Hermie?
Well, Vince, first of all, Johnny Sauter on the radio took responsibility for that contact on the racetrack, got loose, then got up into the 8, and he acknowledged to his crew that he made a mistake. They're worried more about the right front in front of the tire than they are really behind the tire. You see a shot of crew chief Joe Shear Jr., but as you guys said, this is the kind of season they've had since their win back at Dover. They came down pit road, got 2 tires, got back in traffic, and now they're going to have to battle to not only get this truck fixed, but to try to get back up front and salvage a top 10 finish.
Well, guys, if there isn't any damage to that right front tire, he's going to be just fine. See if we can look back here and see if maybe clip the apron a bit and it upset the truck. But these truckers really want to be on that apron, basically down in the center of the corner. You can see right there, he's, I think, right where he wants to be, just gets loose, Phil.
Yeah, just got a little bit loose. His left front tire might have been on the apron, but put left sides on. They didn't put 4 tires on it like most of the guys that came down pit road, just left side tires on Johnny's truck.
Well, it's still amazing it didn't collect more. That incident, as you see the repair and the working on that right front of solder.
So hard to get anything done here in Bristol. The caution laps are so short and the pit road is so long. It's hard to get any repairs made without losing a lap.
Well, you see there on the bottom left portion of the screen what it's been like of late for Johnny Sauter. It has not been an easy road to the playoffs.
They had to feel pretty good early in the year after they left Dover with that victory, but it's been all downhill since.
Haven't had a top 5 since, and that was in May.
And then you add to the fact that he was suspended a race for some on-track action with Austin Hill. They're coming green.
And Johnny has to go all the way down the front pit road here. Be a good chance that he might come out right in front of the leaders or maybe right in the middle of the pack.
We're going to know in a hurry if he's got his truck fixed or not, because the leaders are going to be breathing down on him.
Ready for the restart here in stage 2. Again, Brett Moffitt on the outside. The control truck and to the point. Chastain getting a little pressure from Chandler Smith, and there's Matt Crafton coming up.
Johnny Sauter was able to get off of pit road and stay in front. He's about 6 truck lengths in front of our leader, Brett Moffitt, right now.
Close quarter racing, no room for error. We saw what happened when there'd be a little error. Johnny Sauter ended up getting into John Hunter Nemechek.
Most people still fight for the bottom, trying to get down to that traction compound. Here's Grant Enfinger trying to get inside the 16 of Austin Hill.
Chastain putting the bumper now to Moffitt, wanting that lead back.
27 laps to go to the end of stage 2.
What an aggressive move by Chastain, just pushing Moffitt out of the way.
Moffitt finally has to get out of it and slip back into that second spot. Chandler Smith right there running in third. And then Matt Crafton and Stuart Friesen. So 4 playoff contenders there in the top 5 with Chandler Smith right in the middle.
The young driver in the 51, just 17 years old, only his 3rd start, but you can see him there lurking. What you'd expect on the radio, a lot of coaching about which groove to take and just stay disciplined, they're telling him. Stay disciplined. Don't pay attention to the 45 and 24, those 2 trucks in front of you fighting each other. Just stick to your groove, make your laps, and you'll get up front is what they're telling him.
Well, he made his debut at Iowa, started from the pole and led the first 55 laps. I mean, he was on his way. Then they were having a radio issue, and then they came to pit road. He got a speeding penalty and got back in the mix and ended up finishing 8th in that race. But he has been super impressive in just 3 starts.
Yeah, one thing we have to take note, we talk about our 8 playoff contenders. There's also playoffs for the owners. This 51 truck is actually in that battle for the owners championship by virtue of Greg Biffle getting that win at Texas. Kyle Busch's wins didn't count towards that, but Greg Biffle's win did. So that 51 truck is alive, and that truck has been dominant over the last 6 or 8 years in that owners championship.
How about the 98 of Grant Enfinger running 9th?
Remember at the start of the race, he said his truck was good, not great. It's starting to come alive just a little bit. What he's telling his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, on the radio right now is he needs to be a little freer on the exit in order to keep up his momentum. He says he has a little bit of a chatter. That he can deal with. What Jeff is saying back to him, though, it's Bristol. Keep your head down, refocus. We'll bring you in when we can.
Such a great season for Enfinger and company. The regular season champs, 7 top 5s.
We were worried about Johnny Sauter's truck. So far, so good. He's able to hold off.
Saw some sparks coming from the bottom, and there you go.
Yeah, it's
good look at it.
Part of the damage, I'd guess. It's got to be a little bit nervy for Ross Chastain to look at that, doesn't it?
You saw during the break, Brett Moffitt getting back around Ross Chastain. Moffitt back in front. Chastain and Moffitt, the only two that have led in this race so far this evening. And right now, Johnny Sauter is just ahead of him, trying desperately to stay on the lead lap after some contact with John Hunter Nemechek.
This is going to get good, too, because Johnny has lap traffic ahead of him. You can see down on the bottom, nice run by Ross, but I think Brett's going to try the top just to see if he can make any progress up there. Look at the momentum he gets.
Yeah, Johnny's a little bit hesitant to go to the top. Right now, content to follow the 54 of Natalie Decker.
Final 5 laps here in stage 2, and these points are important. Not just the stage points, but that stage win and that playoff point that you get to take with you to the next round.
Johnny gets his way inside of the 54 of Decker. She slid up the hill. Nice job by her. Racing with the leaders, being aggressive, but not putting herself in jeopardy.
4 to go, 3 to go now here in stage 2 for Ross Chastain.
Ross would love to get by Johnny Sauter and put him a lap down.
This is some championship driving by Sauter, being able to hang on to this position inside the lead lap. If he can do it for 2 more laps.
Final 2 laps here in stage 2. Pits are closed. Can Moffitt get past Chastain for the stage win? Final lap. Chastain trying to win both stages to open up this race here tonight at Bristol.
Look at Moffitt go to the outside.
To the top. Can he make it work? Brett Moffitt coming around the high side, and he does it. Wow! Brett Moffitt wins stage 2. How about that?
And Johnny Sauter stays on the lead lap. Some great driving there.
That was as good as it gets right there. What a Hail Mary by Brett Moffitt. He threw it down into turn 3. It stuck, and he drove around the outside of Ross.
Got to make his crew chief, Jerry Baxter, happy. Waited for the perfect time and made his run around the outside of Ross Chastain for the stage win.
Outside again.
It's been fun, and it's only going to get better. The playoff opener from Bristol. Back at Bristol, dramatic finish to stage 2 with Brett Moffitt with the outside lane pass of Ross Chastain. Getting Jerry up off the seat. Good stuff. Chastain won stage 1. Moffitt with the outside pass to win stage 2. Coming to pit road, what's the leader going to do, Hermie?
Vince likes his truck is going to get 4 tires and fuel that takes a little bit of take off the nose of that truck to cool the engine a little bit. The 88 of Matt Crafton, his truck is too loose. 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment for the 88. Jamie.
For Ben Rhodes in the number 99, he said he is too tight to run on the high side. He needs to be freer through the middle. So crew chief Matt Noyce making the call. They're going to go 1 up on the left side track bar. They're also going to take on 2 tires once they eventually make their way into their pit stall.
And the 51 in the middle of your screen, Chandler Smith. They love the race the young driver is doing right now. He says it fires off slow, but once they get going, it is perfect. 4 tires for the 51 truck. On the bottom of your screen, Ross Chastain, he came over the radio and just sort of laughed and apologized to his team, saying sorry he lost that stage, but they like where the truck is. A small air pressure adjustment for the 45.
How about talking to our stage 2 winner, Brett Moffitt?
I think he's talking to Scoot. Hey, well, let's see if we can get him. Hey, Brett Moffitt and Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Phil.
Brett, that was an awesome run there. Looked like you just waited to the exact right moment. You guys were trying to get by Johnny Sauter, put him a lap down, and you just pounced on him and got that stage point, that stage win.
Yeah, we got a really good midnight moon Chevy Silverado here, and we're really strong on the long runs. We couldn't fire off as good as the 45, so he'd start fading right about the time we'd come in, and lap traffic is hectic out here, so luckily I was able to get it there in time, get us a stage win, and try to make a run for the playoffs here.
I know it means a lot to you guys, Mike Beam, Maury Gallagher, everyone, to carry Junior Johnson on board that truck tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly an honor to be able to ride with a legend on board, and man, we're here in the mountains of Tennessee, and we got the moonshine truck, so hopefully that's a good aura for us, and we can take him and his family to victory lane tonight.
All right, buddy. Great job. Thank you.
2 stages down, 1 to go. A little moonshine and pass around the shine might be a big celebration later tonight. Phil Gould, the crew chief for Ross Chastain, is seething because his driver has been penalized and will have to go to the tail because of a safety violation. And we'll show you the replay. Watch this man leaning over the wall, holding the tire, and as soon as his hand touches that ground, he's really deemed like another man over the wall, right?
Yeah, I think they call it a safety violation, but essentially it's too many men over the wall once you put any part of your body over there.
You can see that tire still got away a bit, and there you see the young man that was in violation discussing it with the NASCAR official. But when your hand goes down, you're a man over the wall, and that's the rule, and that's what NASCAR called.
Wow. Xfinity fastest pit stops. Parker Kligerman and Ben Rhodes taking 2 tires with those times, you see.
A couple of trucks up front, Enfinger and Creed. What about Creed from the back to the front? They stayed out. So this is going to be differing strategy. Really interesting racing coming up.
Enfinger on the inside, the regular season champion, and Sheldon Creed on the outside. Side by side into one. Enfinger gets the spot.
Boy, Enfinger drove it hard down in the corner to make sure that Creed wasn't able to keep it pinned down.
Oh, it's sideways as Rhodes. And look at the traffic jam it created behind him.
Yeah, Rhodes got squeezed out. Creed gets second, and Moffitt moves up into that 3rd spot. Rhodes doesn't want to give it up easily. Matt Crafton is right there waiting as well. Aggressive yet patient, because it will take all your patience tonight at Bristol.
Johnny Sauter up on the outside there in that teal colored truck. He's battling with all these lead lap trucks after that awesome driving to stay on the lead lap in that last stage.
Yeah, 20 trucks right now on the lead lap. Ross Chastain running 19th.
Of course, you see on the left-hand side of your screen all those names with the yellow background. They are the playoff drivers. This is the opening race of the 7-race playoff.
You can see high side, low side, wherever they're not, that's where Ross Chastain is going. He told me earlier on our interview with him, I'll let Brett have that top for now. I'll do it later. Well, his hand is,
this is later. This is later.
His hand has been forced, and he'll go anywhere now.
The problem is once you get back there, it's so difficult to get back to the front because of all the traffic.
Oh, did you see the trucks get together ahead of them? That looked like maybe Todd Gilliland and Johnny Sauter. Dyson.
Yeah, you can see Johnny just get out in front of the 4 of Gilliland. There he is right there. I think they definitely made contact. I believe the 4 truck was sideways there. Let's see if we can take a look back at what happened.
Austin Hill in the 16 there on the right-hand side of the screen, and then Sauter into the back left side of Gilliland. And a caution, and Tyler Dipple with contact. Dylan Lupton is involved in that in the 15. Big hit for Dipple.
I think Ross was in that vicinity of the 0-2 of Dipple.
Yeah, he had been right behind Dipple previously. We'll see if he was involved in that incident.
Oh, Brendan Poole maybe was on the inside of Dipple. Dipple comes down. Is that?
That's kind of what it looked like. You see Dylan Lupton came along, an innocent victim.
It's the 0-2 of Dipple. Yeah, just got down there. Didn't realize that Poole was coming through.
That was a dive that Dipple didn't see coming, and he went to the bottom. And watch and see what Chastain sees here.
Yeah, this is going in turn 1 here. You can see there's the 2 trucks getting side. That's when the 4 of Gilliland getting sideways.
This is a great battle, but it results in some heavy contact.
It's Sam Mayer in the 21, another GMS truck. You see Dipple got a little bit loose. Now Ross jumped on it, got to the inside.
And then look in the mirror. You can see in the mirror back there those guys crashing.
Boy, Chastain fortunate to get through that.
Timing is everything. That was some good timing.
When for Tyler Dipple, after finishing a career best 3rd last week, his truck is junk now here at Bristol. .65 to go at Bristol in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoff opener. Just gone back green here in this final stage, and the caution is out again, and this time it's Natalie Decker in the 54 truck.
Spun entering turn 3.
Doesn't appear to be a lot of damage on that truck.
Maybe that right front towed out a little bit. Phil.
Yeah.
You can see where it's hit there. Maybe not, though. 2 or 3 trucks look like came together. I think they did.
Definitely towed out, I think.
Pretty good contact with that outside wall.
You can see she was.
Hey, you got to listen to the spotter. If you would came down when you're supposed to off a 2, this never would have happened.
Well, that's all part of it, right? I mean, getting used to being able to multitask in regards to driving, doing what the spotter, listening to the spotter guide you along.
And like Frankie Kerr said, it happens so fast here. You might say clear, and if you hesitate a half a beat, then it's not clear anymore. You can see definitely some damage to the right front of Natalie's truck.
How about the leader, Jamie?
For Grant Enfinger, he was complaining of being too tight in traffic, but now that we've had this swing of cautions, he's been able to run outside, out front of everybody else. He said that it's much more comfortable now. They still are going to have to make another pit stop, but he is much happier. He says the truck's as best it's been all night. Hermie?
Well, Jamie, Tyler Ankrum is really running some pretty good lap times. His truck is pretty good, but a concern under the hood, the engine is skipping intermittently. Doesn't do it every lap, but they had brought it down under the end of the last stage under caution, looked under the hood, nothing they can really see that they were able to fix to guarantee that they have got the 17 fixed, so they hope he can ride it out and doesn't have issues between now and the end of the race. And as far as the 18, that's Harrison Burton out of the KBM stable. He is 7 laps down, and the issue for them is a broken shock mount. They're coming back down pit road again to continue to try to work on it, but that has been the culprit that has put the 18 that many laps down.
I want to follow up a little bit on Jamie's report talking about Grant Enfinger when Jeff Hensley said they're going to have to stop one more time. Michael, I don't think they're going to stop one more time. He might have been woofing Jamie a little bit because they stopped on lap 61, which is maybe a tick outside their window, but with all these caution laps, Jeff, they're inside their pit window. I don't see him stopping.
But he doesn't look like a woofer to me. I don't think he would do that to Jamie. Do you?
I mean, he's from Ridgeway, Virginia. Surely he wouldn't do that.
Hey, if he's on that crew, on that pit box as a crew chief,
he's
he
a woofer.
absolutely
He's a
would be a woofer.
Vince, you've wandered around down there for many years. You know those guys pretty good, huh?
Oh, that's part of it. Hey, of course, big race tonight, Xfinity Series tomorrow night, and the Monster Energy Cup Series on Saturday night. Recapping it all from Bristol on Race Hub Monday.
This week on NASCAR Race Hub, short track racing can only mean one thing: mayhem, meaning Radioactive will be off the charts. And don't miss Chad, Drew, Jamie, Larry, and Michael Waltrip in studio to break down Bristol. Plus, we're tagging along with some RCR crew members as they have some fun off the track. That's all this week on NASCAR Race Hub. Weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
You guys have a lot of fun, Mike. Yeah, you do a great job on there, as
just
all the gang does.
Check out the crowd here in Bristol, Tennessee. Everybody loves coming to this racetrack, and I love being on the hub and having a chance to break it down.
Real quickly, the 99 of Ben Rhodes, Jamie.
Ben Rhodes currently running in the 5th position. He was telling his team he wished he would have gone up just a little bit more just to get ready for this final push to the checkered flag. They said, you've got what you got right now. You're going to be in good position. Just go out there, keep your head down and fight.
Rhodes is right there running in that 5th spot. And how about Sheldon Creed, another outlier, if you will, a non-playoff guy, restarting on the outside of the front row. Everybody right now chasing Grant Enfinger. He's in the lead.
Brett Moffitt side by side with his teammate Creed. Let's see if he can clear him. He does not clear him off of turn number 2.
Moffitt's truck's just so strong through the center of the corner. I thought he could pull it off on 4, But again, Creed holds strong on that outside.
Michael, you mentioned it, all the way from the back to the front. Sheldon Creed had to start at the back here. He's got truck now side by side. Ben Rose trying to grab that third spot on the inside, but Sheldon Creed had to start all the way at the back due to ignition trouble during qualifying.
Rhodes not giving up, taking that inside look, and it's going to be Ben Rhodes grabbing that spot from Sheldon Creed. Creed hanging on the right side, but it's not going to work. Rhodes into the third position, and Brett Moffitt now stalking the 98 of Infinger for the lead.
I just like the way that 24 truck looks right in the center of the turn. It just ducks to the left, and that's the key to Bristol. You get that thing turning in the center, get the gas down, and you got all that traction up off the turn.
Infinger, the regular season champ. Moffitt, the defending series champion. Moffitt, a two-time winner this season. Infinger still hoping for that first win of the campaign.
A lot of drivers talk about Grant Enfinger being one of the toughest guys to pass, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you got your driver, you don't want anyone to let him pass you anyway.
I don't think there's anybody easy to pass at Bristol, and Infinger is going to make Brett Moffitt earn it, that's for sure.
You know, when you're in a position that Moffitt's in right now, a couple of truck links back to the guy trailing you, your options are open. You can run that high line, give it a whirl. Hadn't seen anybody make much of a move up top after the restarts, but Brett's looking around up there.
Remember, Brett Moffitt has 50-lap fresher tires than does Grant Enfinger.
And there's Ross Chastain, who had to come from the back as well after getting that penalty.
And what we're seeing right now out of Ross Chastain is called attack mode. That's what he calls it. He says he's referring to his owner, Al Neese, who tells the team, attack, attack, attack. That is how we have to race. Ross Chastain went to the back, and he's tearing through this field right now. 52 spinning on the track.
Matt Crafton and the 52 of Friesen. A little bit of contact there possibly, but Friesen certainly getting the worst of it.
Looked like they were approaching a lap truck, and it looked like Matt didn't want to get hung in behind that lap truck, tried to move Stewart up the racetrack a little bit.
That's
our inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's the first playoff contender that has had any damage. We saw Ross Chastain go to the back. He's fought his way back inside the top 10. But I think that left front of the 52 truck could be messed up pretty bad, Phil.
Here's Trip Bruce, the crew chief for Stewart Friesen.
Watch this, they're approaching the 0-2 of Tyler Dipple. I don't think Matt wants to get hung up behind him, see him try to drive in the middle of the racetrack, but Stewart said, I'm going to take that line. They get together there.
Two guys trying to take the same position, and it just did not work out. And
they're having a little bit of a conversation about it right now, it seems like.
I think this that contact was a result of a huge block that Friesen threw on Matt Crafton a few laps prior to that. And then that time, Matt said, you're not blocking me, Stewart. And this was the result.
Watch it from out the back of the 45 of Chastain.
Ross is going to drive by their truck, and I know that Matt didn't want to get hung in behind Tyler Dipple and lose that position to Friesen that he was working so hard trying to grab.
And there's Stewart Friesen with a little bit of response.
That truck got some issues on that left front. I don't know if it's just a tire rub, but you could see a lot of contact there.
Hopefully maybe just the bodywork had shown out all that damage. Maybe it didn't affect the toe on that truck.
Either one of those guys to blame in that situation, or is it just two guys at Bristol racing for the same turf?
I think it's just a result of hard racing that maybe went back a few laps before when they had a little blocking going on, and another racer just said, you're not going to block me twice.
And we're inside of 50 laps to go, and each one of these positions counts so much to these guys. They're racing hard.
Friesen is in the box. Allen's there.
Yeah, right now it's just all about assessing that damage. They're going to go to the right side first, put new right side tires on. Really just trying to keep their driver, Stewart Friesen, calm down on the radio. They don't want to do anything out there on the track that'll make the situation worse. Over to the left side, they'll put the new left ones on. They're just trying not to go a lap down. New tires, now they got to make sure those tires are clear of the fenders. See, they're putting the bare bond on the front nose, tires are on. Seeing what they can do to salvage it again, trying not to lose a lap, probably coming back in.
Boy, and Alan used the word salvage, and that's exactly what you're trying to. If you're a playoff driver, you're trying to avoid that disastrous result, especially the first race of the playoffs that can put you in a hole.
Yeah, with only 3 races in this round, everything becomes so important and so magnified.
There's crew chief Trip Bruce, knowing that they put themselves in a real bind here.
Our next playoff race, you see, August 25th, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Mosport, and well, Mr. Friesen, Canadian, he'll be a fan favorite there.
That's one of my favorite venues for this Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
Love that place, and the racing is phenomenal, and it always comes down to that last corner, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Grant Enfinger on the inside and Brett Moffitt on the outside as we restart. 45 to go at Bristol.
Ross gets sideways.
Yes, what a save.
Rafael Lassard with a great save, and Chastain gathered it up as well. And now Johnny Sauter narrowly avoiding contact with Austin Wayne Self. There's only so much space available. Again, I think Sauter got into the wall that time.
Parker Kligerman now gets to the inside in that 75 truck of Johnny. Now Johnny back down on the bottom in that traction compound.
Watch this save. Ross just a little contact on entry and hangs onto that truck, as does Lassard. That's pretty legit racing right there.
Watch his hands. Amazing save.
Amazing. Well, might have saved his night.
That's right.
His championship hopes as Chastain rides 7th.
Enfinger's done a nice job putting a little gap between he and Moffitt.
Fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap, Mike.
Back on board with Ross Chastain. That's Sheldon Creed up ahead of him in the 6th spot.
If Grant Enfinger can hold on for this win here, that will be one of amazing pit call by Jeff Hensley to bring him in on lap number 61.
And I just checked in with Jeff Hensley, and he said that through all of these cautions and Grant's ability to save fuel, they have about 15 extra laps in the tank right now. So coming back into pit lane, you were right, that's not going to happen. I want to go back just a little further also. Sheldon Creed, who started the race last, now up into the 6th position. He's been able to make up ground, but he says he's not that happy with the way his truck's handling right now. He said he's driving his tail off out there, but it just won't turn in.
He is indeed doing a great job. Sheldon Creed running in the 6th spot, and that's on the heels of back-to-back runner-up finishes. This rookie is really getting it done. Last year's ARCA champ.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's on that same strategy as Grant Enfinger. They pitted back on lap number 61.
For 2nd place, Brett Moffitt's got it. Ben Rhodes would like it.
Grant Enfinger's been able to drive away from this 2nd place battle right here.
Moffitt had a bit of a slip, and he fell back into the clutches of Ben Rhodes, and I think he'll rally here and put some heat on Enfinger.
Oh, Joe Cobb.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes got in the back of Jennifer Joe Cobb as he was trying to lap her.
You were on the bottom.
So the caution is out for the 9th time. That's significant damage for Jennifer Joe. And that's good because the other truck out of that stable, Daniel Sasnet, drove at Michigan last week that just got destroyed. So glad that Jennifer Joe was able to get through this situation without putting major damage on that truck.
I think Ben just misjudged it. You could see him back off to try to avoid running into that corner of her truck.
And look, just lurking back there, the 51 truck of Chandler Smith, still in the top 5 and still in a position to maybe win this race.
See, the right front tire was flat on Jennifer Joe's truck.
And also note in our scoring pylon, Stuart Friesen's recovered. That was pretty hard contact to the left front. He's been able to drive up to the 13th position, right in the middle of all those playoff contending trucks.
There's a couple of trucks from the Kyle Busch Motorsports stable, the 51 of Chandler Smith, and then right behind him in the 5th spot is Rafael Lessard. Lessard's interesting story. He's running a limited schedule for KBM. He's also run a race for Gilliland Crosley Racing. He's from Quebec, speaks French. French is his natural language. The only time he still lives in Quebec, the only time he ever speaks English is when he comes to the racetrack. On Enfinger, Jamie?
Well, Jeff Hensley, you made the call, bring him in early. What did you see out there that gave you the confidence to do that?
Yeah, the only chance we had to win the race. I mean, our truck, our F-150, our ThorSport F-150 has been pretty steady all day. We tried some different combination practice with tires, and man, we didn't see a whole lot of difference in tires for us. Track position means everything, and you know, we'll just see what happens. I mean, we're pretty good on fuel. We got about 20 laps to the good, and we'll just see. Clean air means more than tires right now for us.
All right, Hermie.
Jerry Baxter's the crew chief for the 24. Brett Moffitt, you guys in second position with 4 tires. How are you feeling about these last 30 laps?
Things, it hasn't been firing off real good, but it's been pretty good over the long haul. And, you know, with the Enfinger leading the race, he stopped on lap 61, so we should have an advantage over that. Truck's a little bit on top of the track right now, but we'll see. When this gets a green race, I think we'll be okay.
Alan?
The 52 of Stuart Friesen is out there with that damage here with his crew chief, Trip Bruce. How bad is it? What's he saying now that you got a few laps on it?
Yeah, it's that work. I mean, Orange County Fair Speedway truck's been good. It's been handling good all night. We just dealt some odd cars here. He hasn't said a word. He's cool. I'm sure he's not happy with Matt Crafton, but I mean, he's only a few rows up there, so we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens, guys.
Indeed, and it is that time of night, that's for sure. Where I think it's all take and no give.
Oh, without a doubt here.
Any time you're at Bristol, but especially now.
Inside of 30 laps to go.
Well, Grant Enfinger will lead them back to the green on this restart. You see the 17 truck with an issue has come to a stop down on the inside line. That's Tyler Ankrum, one of our playoff drivers, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, we mentioned this earlier, engine shutting off. Now it is shut off completely. They came back down pit road because they had a tire chatter on the racetrack. Didn't like the set of tires on that truck. Came down pit road, put 4 more tires on it, and now it's shut off completely. So bad break for the 17.
Indeed. So we've had a few of our playoff contenders that have had some issues tonight.
Could you get busted for speeding on pit road if a wrecker was pushing you?
I think we got bigger issues than that right now, Phil. Our truck doesn't run. It's funny, Vince, early in the race where all the playoff guys were having no issues, and lately we've seen 3 of them have some problems.
Coming to 1 to go. Grant Enfinger, Ross Chastain, and Brett Moffitt, the only 3 that have led in this race tonight. Chastain led 78. He won stage 1. Moffitt led 38. He won stage 2. Enfinger has led 56 tonight, most laps he's ever led in a race.
What about Enfinger, too? He's down on the bottom of the racetrack making that work. The other leaders recently have taken the top.
I think he stays up in the middle of the corner over here in 3 and 4, and it's such an advantage for the guy that is the control truck. And he should beat him to the first corner.
Pace truck is off. Enfinger and Moffitt on the front row for the restart. Less than 30 to go in the playoff opener at Bristol.
Great run on this restart by Moffitt. He's able to hang beside of Enfinger down the back straightaway.
Side by side for the lead. Can Enfinger make it work? Oh, Enfinger had a big slip, and Moffitt got around him. Sauter with contact and gets into the inside wall.
We're hearing that maybe it was the 52 truck of Stuart Friesen. No caution. We stay green.
And now the caution comes out as Rafael Lessard has gone around.
Did y'all say something about all take and no give?
Yes.
Lassard was turned early into turn 3, it looked like, and just slid all the way through the corner. I bet you there was contact.
I bet you he had a little bit of help.
Here's Sauter getting the tap from the 52 of Friesen. Sauter didn't really have space to work because Sam Mayer was right there in front of him.
Yeah, I really wouldn't put that on Stuart Friesen as a retaliatory move at all.
No, I think Friesen,
he just ran out of room, didn't he?
When the 2 of Creed lost all his momentum, it slowed down Mayer. And look, Sauter tries to change lanes, and Friesen was just there.
And I think he backed off before he moved to the left, and then Stewart got into him.
And then what happened to the 46 of Raphael Lassard? Ross Chastain, give him a little help.
Ross said, I'm committed to the inside.
You know, maybe 20, 30 laps into the race, he lets him by with that block. But the more you block, the later in the race, the more you're risking getting turned around.
Last year's winner, Johnny Sauter. Hermie?
They're in for 4 tires, Vince. We saw Johnny Sauter earlier in the night battle really hard to stay on the lead lap, and he is still there, but a lot of damage, and now not a lot of track position, but only basically 20 laps to go when they take the green flag. So we'll see what Johnny can get out of these 4 tires here in the closing laps.
Look how crumpled that whole left side is. He collected the inside wall down toward turn 1. Hopefully no suspension damage. That's pretty hard hit.
The only one of the 8 playoff drivers below Sauter right now is Tyler Ankrum. He sits in the 21st spot while Sauter is 18th. Work being done on Lassard's truck. Our first round playoff races, of course, here at Bristol. Johnny Sauter won this race last year. Go to Canada in the road course. Justin Haley now full-time in the Xfinity Series. He was the winner. And then at Vegas, the cutoff race here in round 1, Grant Enfinger, who has been running up front tonight. He is the defending winner at Las Vegas.
Remember that race at Canada? KBM teammates got together on the last corner, the last lap. Todd Gilliland and Noah Gregson to give that win to Justin Haley.
Got a nice mix of playoff drivers and drivers that just want to win up toward the front. The guy that preached all day long, he didn't want to hear about playoffs, Ben Rhodes, is going to restart on the inside in second.
5 of our top 10 are playoff drivers.
Moffitt took that outside like we've seen him do. He was able to wrestle the lead away from Enfinger from the outside. And now he has the advantage that he's a control truck, and he's from the outside.
17-year-old Chandler Smith in that 51 truck will restart behind Moffitt. Back green, 21 laps remaining.
Great job by Brett Moffitt. Chandler Smith's doing a nice job keeping that 99 pitch down. He may grab that second spot.
Our Gander Outdoors, 20 to go. 20 laps remaining in the playoff opener. Wow, 3 wide. Not much room to work. Door to door. Somehow Chandler Smith hanging in there in second with Rhodes, giving him a little bump.
How about Ross Chastain battle his way? Oh, back up in the top 5, and here goes Sheldon Creed.
And a caution is out on the front stretch. Gus Dean in the 12 is involved, and Natalie Decker along the inside wall. Tyler Dipple in that 0-2. I can't even believe Dipple was able to continue from that contact initially, but he is still out there and maybe took a little bit more damage. Gonna be a lot of beat up race trucks at the end of this one tonight.
Usually is here at Bristol.
That's what the fans love though about this place, isn't it? I mean, and Mike, you guys, I mean, both you guys raced here many times, and it's a fun place, but man, you can step on some toes and get your feelings hurt in a hurry.
Well, you know, a few years back, they reconfigured this racetrack, and we had 3 wide racing, guys out next to the outside wall and down on the bottom. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. The fan says, nah, we like the old Bristol. Bruton Smith, Marcus Smith, all the SMI team got together and said, well, we can give you that. And they put down the traction compound, and these trucks are running right around the bottom. That's what the old Bristol was all about. You get to the bottom, if you had a faster truck than another guy, you just have to knock him out of the way. And we're seeing a lot of that tonight, and it's just what the fans ordered.
Hey, we saw a little contact between Ross Chastain in the 45 and the 2 of Sheldon Creed. Let's listen to the radio. Begin with the 45 of Chastain.
No, but I'm sorry to him. Might save him the truck if he decides to retaliate. We know all too well about that. We don't need that. Just trying to take the fastest truck and win.
And the 2?
Get him back. That's not a very smart race. Way to race when you're in the playoffs. Yeah, just stay off him right now. Now's not the time. Just be smart. Nice job there, though, recovering.
How do you race a guy in the playoffs if you're not in the playoffs? You give him a little extra room just out of championship courtesy or not?
From not what I've seen. I mean, I haven't witnessed any of that, Vince, and that was a great example. Sheldon Creed felt like that Ross did him wrong, and he's going to get him back, he said.
Are you saying there's no such thing as courtesy at Bristol?
I've witnessed zero.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty at Bristol. Back at Bristol, getting close to the end. Gonna crown a winner, but this is not the winner.
I've never been wrecked by a wrecker.
Natalie Decker they're trying to push Natalie Decker off the track after being involved in an incident, and then
Push her onto it. I think she wanted to turn on the pit road, and the record driver didn't realize that, and she was trying to hit the brakes, and
he was on the gas.
He was on the gas. Yeah.
NASCAR's.
Oh, that's why we're having the problem right there.
That's a beautiful moon.
It is.
Is that signs of what's to come all weekend long?
Gosh. Oh, gosh.
I would imagine, yeah.
I love NASCAR's throwing the red here. There was some oil on the back straightaway, or excuse me, on the back pit road. They started to clean that up and tow it off Natalie's 54 truck. So
I like it too, Mike, because this is a situation where, I mean, under yellow, under these circumstances, because the laps go by so quickly, I mean, we could have been down, inside 10 laps very easily. So I agree. I like the red here.
Do you think these two are sorting it out?
I think they are. I think they're having a bit of a conversation. They can definitely hear each other. With the engines off, they can definitely hear each other.
And take us inside the truck. What are you sorting it out, or are you voicing your displeasure?
I think you both know you got a lot to lose. I mean, any kind of conflict here at this point, it can just hurt your championship run for either truck. And Ross Chastain's got the same situation with Sheldon Creed. He's saying hi to him. That's nice.
He's actually saying hi to the fans on the other side of the truck.
I think he was using the other finger when he was speaking.
No.
Just kidding.
Bristol really gets your emotions going, though. So, look at those trucks. Stuart Friesen, despite that heavy contact, he's still got a fast truck.
I mean, Vince, we were doing our qualifying show, and on camera, and Michael hit my microphone with his microphone here.
I love how close the fans are to these trucks and the drivers. That's awesome.
I believe if I were Ross, I'd be waving at Sheldon. Saying,
hey, buddy, remember me? We're friends, right?
I didn't mean to run into you. That was on me.
Well, it's certainly a great time here at Bristol, and it might be as much beating and banging when we go to Canada, north of the border on the road course.
Yeah, we've seen our share of it over the years we've been going up there, but what a great facility there, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
There was the takedown. It's a great trip to go to Canada and watch these boys battle. Look at that action.
And most of the stuff we're watching was on the last lap, too, by the way.
And for the fans that have maybe ever given some consideration of making that trip, if you've not been to that facility, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, formerly known as Mosport, which most know it as, it is a phenomenal facility and a great place for race watching.
Yeah, Ron Fellows and his staff have done a great job with that facility, and they do a great job when we go up there for the truck race.
Hey, we've given Chandler Smith some much-deserved love tonight, and he continues to run well. He's sitting second, Alan.
Yes, and he's good position to win this race if he can get by and deal with the leader, Brett Moffitt. What they're telling him on the radio, it's been coaching all throughout the night, but what they're telling him on the radio is don't anticipate what Moffitt may do this time. Moffitt, they say, is too good of a driver to do the same exact thing he did on the last restart. So just in planning ahead, they're trying to have him anticipate and figure out what he could do. It won't be the same, is what they tell him. Herbie?
Well, Junior joined as the crew chief for Matt Crafton. Are you having fun?
I was. I would just give up too many spots on that restart on the top, and I thought this Menards F-150 was really good. Everybody executed well today. It's not over by any means, so I'm not giving up, but P7 with 13, 14 to go. I don't know. Just one of them days. I felt like we executed and did our job, but we'll see what happens here in the end.
These guys have battled back. They got a lot of speed, good truck, veteran driver. We'll see what they can salvage, Vince.
Thank you, Hermie. And here's that contact again between Crafton and Friesen.
Yeah, just battling for space there. Matt didn't want to get hung behind the lap truck and damage truck of Tyler Dipple, and tried to maybe force Stewart to move up the racetrack a little bit to give him room, and Friesen was thinking just the opposite. Let me pin him down behind the 0-2 of Tyler Dipple, and I'll grab that spot.
And they'd been racing really hard prior to that contact. In fact, Stewart crowded Matt way down on the back straightaway, and Matt took that block. He just said, I'm not taking another one, and it would cause that contact.
Well, the cleanup continues down in turn 1 and 2, getting close to it. Brett Moffitt will try to close the deal when we come back to Bristol. After a 6-minute and 30-second red, we are ready to go. Pace truck is off. Brett Moffitt and Chandler Smith on the front row. Moffitt to the point on the restart.
Moffitt does a great job, as does Chandler Smith. Teammates side by side. Enfinger in the 98, Rhodes in the 99. 99 moves up the racetrack. Ross 3 wide.
Wow, 3 wide with Chastain, Rhodes, and Creed. And somehow Creed comes out in front of the other two.
Ross Chastain with an aggressive move, and now he's on the inside of the 2.
They've had a little history already tonight. Chastain grabs the spot. So Ross Chastain up into the 4th position.
What a recovery for Stewart Friesen. Back in the 7th spot.
Sam Mayer, what a great job Mayer has done. The 16-year-old making his Truck Series debut there in that 21 truck. He's inside the top 10. Oh, now into the wall.
That was just another misjudgment by Ben Rhodes. He tried to duck in behind the 21, getting in the corner, and he just cut left too soon.
And that brings out the caution.
Ben Rhodes there. Did that.
Twelfth caution of the night. Well, and that's a shame for Sam Mayer. He was doing a nice job.
He sure was. He got up to the 7th spot.
Mayer, the leader of the points race in the K&N East.
Heck, he just won, Vic.
Yeah, won tonight in the K&N Series.
He'll run at Martinsville and also at Phoenix.
Watch this. It looks like, I mean, if he isn't just trying to get behind him, he's trying to wreck him, but I think he just misjudged it. Wanted to get over, did Rhodes, in front of Crafton, get down to the bottom, and just didn't time it right.
Yeah, like you say, that's the 2nd time he misjudged something. Got into Jennifer Jo Cobb and spun her out.
He knew how important it was to get that line away from Crafton, and it resulted in a big hit for Sam Mayer.
How about Ross Chastain going 3 wide and somehow making that work?
It was, watch this. This is just pushing and shoving late. He gets into the back of Rhodes, shoves him up the hill, gets to the bottom, and now we're 3 wide. Just have to remember, Phil, when you race people like this, when you start pushing and shoving them around, they're going to remember that. And you could be on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, it might not happen tonight. It might happen in Canada. It may happen in Martinsville, but...
And if you talk to drivers in the garage area, it's no secret that Ross Chastain has rubbed some people the wrong way with his aggressive style of racing this season. Chastain, I don't think he's too offended by it because he's saying, hey, I've got 3 wins. I'm going to run for a championship. This is the way it's going to be.
Well, he'll tell you he's got 4 wins, but he only has 3 wins. That 1 win, they didn't pass post-race inspection, and NASCAR took it away.
See that 30th place finish at Michigan. Remember, a crash on pit road, ran extremely well, was leading the race when he came to pit road, and had a crash on pit road. Took him out of the race.
Let's go racing, boys.
Cleanup is about complete.
Yeah, we're going 1 to go, Vince. And Brett Moffitt schooled Chandler Smith on that last restart, was able to clear him getting into 1. That's what Moffitt needs to do here. He doesn't want that 17-year-old youngster looking for his first win to go into turn 1 side by side. He can push the issue, get in there too deep, get loose, and hit Moffitt.
Yeah, he needs to be completely clear of him when they get to turn 1, like he was that last time. But he'll probably mix it up a little bit on this restart, as they were telling Chandler Smith, don't expect him to do the same thing twice.
And look who's right back to Moffitt's bumper. There's Ross Chastain. We know he's going to be on go.
Grant Enfinger will start alongside Chastain in row 2. Championship contender as well. 3 laps remaining at Bristol.
Brett didn't clear him. Look at Chandler Smith.
Smith driving it down into 3, and they come off of turn 4 side by side. Moffitt trying to put him away for the lead and gets the spot.
What a great run by Brett Moffitt to wrestle that spot back.
Chastain trying to get second from Chandler Smith now. But here comes Moffitt around to get the white flag. 1 lap remaining.
Chastain almost spun that truck out down into turn 1. And look on the bottom. Here comes Stuart Friesen.
Get out the shine and pass it around. It's time to celebrate. Brett Moffitt has won at Bristol.
Badass race to win. One here, did a great job.
That was beautiful. Beautiful racing.
Really veteran racing there. Brett Moffitt has a lot of experience, been around a long time, even though he's not that old, but he used every bit of his experience to win that race.
Junior Johnson would have said, boy, you better get up on that wheel. And that's exactly what Brett Moffitt did. And now he can honor Junior and his family here at Thunder Valley. How cool is this win?
The midnight moonshine on a night when there's a full moon. Bristol. It all worked out just right.
We should have been all over that, right? How could anyone else get the win?
And Moffitt's name now, well, he has that green background, which means he is secure and moving on to the next round of the playoffs, regardless of what happens in the next 2 races, the final 2 races in round 1.
He can go up to Canada next week and have some fun, can't he?
Can. The 10th career win for Brett Moffitt.
Remember, that's the same team that won here last year with Johnny Sauter. Bit of a number change from the 21 last year to the 24. Jerry Baxter on board to call the shots this year.
That team's hitting their stride.
What a relief for Baxter, the crew chief, and for Brett Moffitt, the driver, and all of those associated with the 24 team to get this win tonight, guaranteeing their position in the next round of the playoffs. A huge victory for Brett Moffitt and company. One to remember for Brett Moffitt, winning at Bristol in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoff opener. Thanks a lot, Amber, and what a great night here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway, where Brett Moffitt has won at Bristol for the first time and winning for the 10th time in his Truck Series career. burning them down. And how about our cameraman, Jake Blau, running him down? Well done, Jake. And our points updated. Moffitt came in as the #1 seed and put the stamp on it tonight.
There it is, going to breeze right through this first round of playoffs.
Great recovery for Stuart Friesen. That truck into the outside wall and comes away with a top 5 finish.
There's Rafael Lessard and Ross Chastain having a conversation. Lessard, a rare appearance in the Truck Series, made a couple of starts this season, but has done well, whereas Chastain, certainly one of the championship favorites. That was a moment ago, and Ross is now with Allen.
And Vincent, let's just address it. I mean, you made a great comeback, Ross, after having to go to the back, but you've so far heard from other drivers. Crew chiefs have come up to you. They're upset with your aggressive driving. What do you say to them?
Every time I had position on the guys, so yeah, we put ourselves in a hole there with our one pit stop. You know, I hate that, but fastest truck didn't win tonight. Congrats to Brett and everybody at GMS, but this car Shield Chevy, you know, should be up there on top of that stage. I wish we could have raced it out with him. So had a lot of fun racing with him, clean, and come back through the field. It's one lane. It's old Bristol. They've taken away the top. They've ground it without telling us, or they didn't tell me. And so it's one lane around the bottom. This is what built this place. Like, you come in this tunnel, there's talks, like quotes about rattling cages. There's helmets being thrown. Like, if we're going to fill these places up, the Car Shield Chevy is going to be the one adding the excitement. So I hate that crew chiefs come down here and want to pump their chest out. They're old washed-up race car drivers. That I love Marcus and Rudy, but my goodness, let your drivers come handle it, and one at a time, line them up. Let's race, and let's handle it outside of the race car. Obviously, I'm no stranger to this. Got wrecked at Watkins Glen by a driver that lost his cool after we were racing hard, and I'm just so blessed to be in this position. And we'll go on to Canada. Let's go to Hermie in victory lane.
Well, here he is, Matt Crafton, on top of the world, on top of the building, here at Bristol. Brett Moffitt, unbelievable night for you guys tonight. Third career win, first at Bristol, and this is a big one because it's in the playoffs. What was the key for you keeping that hornet's nest of drivers behind you on those final restarts?
Yeah, it was tough. Our Midnight Moon Chevy Silverado was super strong on long runs, but it was hard to get fired off. So it was really about just getting the first couple laps under our belt after a restart. Obviously, 45 having a penalty there probably made it a little easier on us, but it seemed like he could take off good, but we had run good. And man, this thing was just fast. At the end of the day, Jerry and these guys got it done, and no more important win than right now for this season, you know, getting into the round of 6. So we'll take this and move on with it.
How does it change at all the way you approach the next 2 races of the first stage of these playoffs?
Oh, yeah, we're playing on house money now. I mean, we still want to go get points and ultimately win races and get playoff points to set ourselves up a little safety net for the next round. But now we'll just go and race to win, and the pressure's off. Everyone performs better when the pressure's off. We all know that. But, man, this is just so cool to win with Junior Johnson at the car at Bristol Motor Speedway. I think every NASCAR driver, they'd be lying to you if they didn't say they want to win here. So this is pretty damn cool.
Brett Moffitt wins round 1 at Bristol, Jamie.
Well, Stuart Friesen was able to make up some championship ground tonight despite what the truck looks like right now. Matt Crafton, you guys were parked beside each other on the front straightaway. He also has already come over to talk to you. What level of aggression was out there?
Probably about 11 out of 10. That was just tough, hard racing. Our Helmar Silverado is not going to win the best appearing car award, but it was certainly fast there at the end, and picked off some guys and got back to the front, and that was it. Hard racing, product of that zip strip we got around the bottom, just takes away stuff needs to the racetrack. So we'll race on. Thanks to Helmar, thanks to Chevy, all my guys that kept my head in the game. Rick Crowley's an awesome spotter. Trip Bruce, we've been working together long enough. They know when to calm me down and when to give me a push. So that little bit of deal there gave me a little bit of a push, and we were able to get a top 5 out of it.
On to Canada, Alan.
Yeah, the other side of that conversation, Matt Crafton, we saw you talking with Stuart Friesen. What'd you say? What was the conversation between you two?
I just want to make sure we're all good and moved on.
there's a lot of other ways we can do this instead of tearing up each other's equipment, and I just want to make sure he's on the same page with me, and we're going to let him be water under the bridge at this point. I cut him a huge brake lap before that. I got a run on him and got under him in 3, and I didn't know if I was going to wreck us both, so I lifted, and then the 45 ended up getting by me on that instant. And then I got down there in 2, and I got alongside him pretty good, and then we raced on the back straightaway in the 0-2. I'm like, okay, he's going to give me room. We're going to be able to go here 3 wide, and he just tried to peel me off on the 0-2, and I couldn't check up. But I think it's water under the bridge now. I sure hope it is.
Another night in Bristol, guys.
Well, that's for sure. A lot of hurt feelings, and well, there you see. I think that indicates right there that these two have agreed to disagree, and we're going to move on, and that's what you hope when you're playoff contenders or playoff championship contenders going to the next race.
Yeah, those guys are too good to let that stuff fester and linger, and because they know they've got this guy right here already in the second rounds. They need to chase him down.
I don't know that the conversations were the same with Ross Chastain and the people that weren't happy with him. I didn't see many smiles around Ross other than on Ross, and just a very aggressive competitor that's going to put his truck in positions where it's going to fend people. And we're going to a place in Canada where that's possible on about 10 different turns.
Well, and it's a good place to pay somebody back, too, so you want to make sure that you mend those fences so you don't get paid back, right?
Well, I knew when Ross was put to the rear that he was going to be aggressive. He's aggressive anyway, but going to be really aggressive coming back towards the front, and he certainly was.
Next Sunday, the 25th, race number 2 in round 1 of the playoffs. You'll see it on FS1, Sunday, August 25th. Well, it was typical Bristol. A lot of beating and banging, a lot of guys getting their feelings hurt, and some toes stepped on, but in the end, it was Brett Moffitt reigning supreme. Moffitt takes it to victory lane and wins round 1 of the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoffs. Major League Baseball whip around now.